welcome to ABC in the Morning live here on ABC News GH with me, ABENA MANTE. Happy New Year to you. It's the 6th day of January 2026, already 6 days into the first month of the year. And then today is Tuesday, a very beautiful day. Tuesdays are always beautiful. For many, yesterday was the beginning of the working year, and so you resumed yesterday. I hope it's been great so far. For those who resumed even before 5th January, I hope you've also had a great January so far. I'll tell you what I always tell you: to keep your head up high, to not give up, do not relent in your pursuit of happiness, and also keep faith and hope alive. Very important in this life. If you want to win, you always have to have faith and hope. Do not give up, okay? I really remind you not to give up. Thank you so much for joining me here today on ABC in the Morning. I do not take it for granted at all that you join me every morning here on the show. We are coming to you live from our studios on the Golmot Street in La Accra. Thank you so much. Today we have a lot of conversations for you, and we know that you would love it. Maybe this is going to come as good news to university students, especially University of Ghana students. GTech has directed the University of Ghana to reverse the 2025-26 academic year fee increase. In the past few days, the University of Ghana has been in the news. Academic fees have been up, and people were lamenting, were crying, were stressed out about it. We saw some of them. I came across the residential fees. I was like, wow, quite high numbers, really high numbers. Parents were unhappy about it because you need to dole out this huge amount of money for your ward to go and pay their residential fees, especially as some of the residents were places that you could be assured that you will not be paying much. In the University of Ghana, I mean, there's at least one residence that almost every time the fees are ridiculously high. Yes, that's how I would call it. But then they still get the occupancy. The concerns are raised. What is the university doing about it? But this time, it looks like the fees had cut across everywhere, and because of that, students were all stressing out about it. Well, GTech says that, and by GTech I mean the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, says that the university should credit all continuing students with their overpaid academic year's fees. And so they say that the monies that the students had been asked to pay is too much. But the university says that all of these increases are due to SRC and GRASAG dues. SRC, Student Representative Council, and then GRASAG is the Graduate Students Association. And so these are why the fees are up, and some other levies. But well, GTech says that it is unacceptable. We can't put this pressure on them. So on our front story, we'll have this conversation. We'll go to Parliament and speak with some of our leaders in Parliament and find out what more can be done. I mean, school shouldn't be expensive. It's one of the things that makes a lot of people drop out of school. When you go to the university, you realize that there are so many people there who have had to take care of themselves, even as young as 18, 19, they are fending for themselves. And so the vacation is not vacation as it should be. They go to work to come and pay fees. And so when fees shoot up, it's of great concern and great worry to them. Well, we'll have conversations on that and see how far this can be done, and see also what the University of Ghana can do, because University of Ghana, I mean, well, we'll look at that on ABC in the morning. We know that it is a school that listens, and so we'll see what they can do on this matter too. On our main discussion, we'll be taking a look at the NPP presidential primaries. It's heating up. 31st of January 2026. The election will be held. But you see, the question everybody is asking is, how will NPP reorganize itself after 31st January? Because have you been listening to the radio? Have you been watching TV? Have you been reading on social media? I will tell you every day, social media is a gold mine if you know where to go and what to find. Because wow, the conversations, I go and read them and I'm like, wow. The New Patriotic Party, are you able to organize yourself after your primaries, and I've asked this question even here on ABC in the morning, the NPP tells me that after the primaries, they'll be able to come back together. But the conversation, the comments, the jabs, we'll see how far the NPP is going in their journey to 31st January. We'll also look at government's performance in 1 year. Tomorrow is 7th of January, and it will mark President Mohammed's first year in government. He was sworn in 7th January 2025 in that very colorful ceremony that gave Ghana the first female vice president. And so tomorrow being 7th January 2026, marking a year in government, President Mohammed's first anniversary in his second term, we'll be looking at his performance, what his government has been able to do in this 1 year. So these are some of the conversations we have for you today on ABC in the morning. As usual, I'll bring you the latest in the world of sports. The sports team is on hand to bring us the latest. Yesterday at the AFCON, what happened there? We'll have some conversations on that. I'll also be opening the phone lines where I'll be looking forward to speaking with you, and you call on 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609. I'd love so much to hear from you, where you can share your thoughts on the conversations we are having, especially university students. I'd love to hear from you. Are you a University of Ghana student, continuing student? When you saw your fees for the year, how did you feel? My God, how did you feel? If you were taking care of yourself in school, how did that hit you? We will talk about that, and so I look forward to hearing from you on Ghana Speaks as well as on other issues. And so if you're interested, and I know you are, kindly call when it's time for Ghana Speaks and share your thoughts with us. We're streaming live on our socials at ABC News GH, Facebook at ABC News GH. If you have not liked the Facebook page yet, kindly do so and turn on post notifications. Same for YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel and turn on post notification for the channel. You can also get all of the news as it is happening, as we're having conversations you want to read. Go to our website, www.abcnewsgh.com, and also interact with us via our socials at abcnewsgh_. Again, I am ABENA MANTE, and I thank you so much that you have joined me today here on ABC in the morning. Right after this break, we bring you our conversation on our front story. Do stay.
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Gino Jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana Jollof.
Jollof Soko.
Jollof Soko. Tasty nie.
What is going on here?
Enjoy Jollof the Ghana way. Gino Jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. For our front story, we take a look at education matters. The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission has directed the University of Ghana to reverse its academic fees that is charging for the 2025-26 academic year. Sometime last week, the University of Ghana announced a 25% increment in academic fees, and it raised a lot of concerns. It generated some uproar across the university, across all colleges, across all schools. And the University of Ghana explained that this increase is due to third-party charges. And these are third-party charges imposed by student leadership and not by the university authorities. GTEC says that University of Ghana should change this decision it has taken. Although University of Ghana has explained that it is due to third party fees and not from the university themselves. Well, let me read the GTEC's directive to the University of Ghana. So this is to the Vice Chancellor, University of Ghana, Legon. Dear Madam, and the subject is increase in 2025-26 academic year fees and charges. Reference is made to our letter dated November 3, 2025. In which the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, explicitly directed all publicly funded tertiary institutions not to implement any fee increases for the 2025-26 academic year. Notwithstanding this directive, the Commission has been made aware that the University of Ghana has increased fees by 25% and in certain instances introduced new fees without prior approval from the relevant authorities as required by law. And so GTEC is requesting the University of Ghana to do these, and they list 5 items. 1, reverse any fee increases or any dues immediately. Credit all continuing students who have overpaid compared to last year's fees for the next academic year. 3, refund the difference to final year students who have paid in excess of the fees for last academic year. 4, revert all dues, including SRC and GRASAC dues, to last academic year's rates. 5, suspend any new fees, such as the 75th anniversary dues and development levy, if newly introduced, except for those that were already in place. The fees must be set at the last academic year's rates. And this is what GTEC is saying. This is what GTEC is saying. But you see, these increments, you see, like I said when we're starting the show, are quite worrying for students, especially those who have to fend for themselves. There are students that right after senior high school, it is no more the burden of their parents to fund tertiary education. Their parents tell them, we have seen you through the second cycle part of your education, and so now you should start fending for yourselves. And so for most of them, it is basically go and work and take care of yourself. But you know that for many, the second cycle education is not enough to push them anywhere. And so they would want a tertiary education, and they would want to do this. And so now they have to pay for the fees. And so any increment such as this is quite heartbreaking. 25% is something that students cannot pay. That is 1/4 or 1/4 of what they were paying the previous year. Let's have some conversation. Honorable Peter Nochukoto is the chairperson of the Education Committee of Parliament. Good morning, sir. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, madam, and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, same for you and your colleagues.
Thank you, sir. Well, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission has directed the University of Ghana to reverse its 25% fee increment. How do you receive this, sir?
Well, let me say that GTEC as a regulatory body that oversees tertiary education in the country has taken a step that we should commend them because for any institution to impose any fees and charges, GTEC must approve it, forward it to the necessary authorities, and it will finally come to Parliament for approval under the Fees and Charges Act of Parliament. So I, as a chairman of the committee and a member of the committee subsidiary, which is responsible for fees and charges, we have not cited anything like that from the University of Ghana.
Okay.
So for me, it is in order, and the university authorities must do the right thing next time around.
So if I understand you right, the University of Ghana's fee increments did not go through GTEC, neither did they come through Parliament.
Yes. About 2 years ago, a similar issue came up when University of Ghana had to introduce some fees adjustment. And the committee with GTEC, we had to sit on it and then came to a conclusion, which finally became part of the Fees and Charges Act in Parliament. So I was expecting that anything that they will charge should come to Parliament for consideration. But my information also is that it is not coming from the university itself, but rather student unions on the campus that approach the university authorities for the imposition of such charges. But how those charges became 25% of the fees is what we need to investigate. So for me, they have breached the rules. So what GTEC did was in order. They should go back, sit down with GTEC, with the Minister for Education, and finally it will come to Parliament for us to consider.
This issue about the fee increment has also raised a lot of concern about accommodation in our universities and the amount students pay for accommodation in our universities. To some point, a lot of people feel that because students are at that disadvantaged position when it comes to accommodation, seeing as a lot of schools do not have the capacity to absorb all the students, accommodation fees are quite ridiculous, if that will be the best word to use, ridiculous fees. And so the students and their guardians or whoever is sponsoring the education are crumbling under the pressure. What do we do for our university students who within the 4 years that they go to school for their degree have to crumble under the intense pressure of the monies they pay in school?
All you know is that even the residential fees or the hostel fees they pay in many cases are more than even the academic fee that they pay at the universities or to the university authorities. So it is worrying because after getting admission, the biggest challenge is how do you settle down? Where will you live? And that is why government came up with the stress-free fee program, so that at least government can take up for the first year the payment of whatever fees are due you to the university. Then parents can concentrate on where to accommodate them. You know, we have this in, out, in program in the universities, but it is not working to perfection, and that is the biggest challenge. So if the universities, at least for the first year, can accommodate all the first year students, then they will take that burden off the head of parents. But it's not, as I said, it's not working very well in all the universities, which we need to modify. So the university authorities must get into agreement with private partners who can put up hostel facilities at affordable rates, and that is what government wants to do now. So let's see, in the next few years, I am very sure that the accommodation problem will be solved. It may not be so perfect, but to a very large extent, more facilities, accommodation facilities will be made available in universities, so that the burden of high fees on students will reduce. because there are not many facilities. That's why the owners of those facilities are taking advantage to charge higher fees. So I hope that once there are enough and there's competition for students, charges of fees for the hostels will go down drastically.
Okay, but how do we look at funding for our universities, especially as comparatively academic user fees are a burden for students? We understand that the loan opportunities available, but not everybody is able to go for loans. Some of the concerns that students raise is that after school we are not even sure about how we are going to get jobs, or even how soon jobs will come, and so going for a loan is a no-go area. They are hesitant to go for loans. And so what other opportunities, sustainable ones, plans do we put in place to ensure that the burden on students are eased? I mentioned earlier that there are some students in our universities who are not, whose fees are not paid by their guardians or their parents. They have to fend for themselves as soon as they leave the second cycle institution. And so the little menial jobs they can do to push themselves is how they go. And so how do we put in place very sustainable systems to help those in our tertiary education, our tertiary institutions?
Yeah, there are opportunities that are open to students in tertiary institutions. We know that for the tertiary level, what normally happens is cost sharing. Cost sharing because the government alone cannot bear the cost of providing tertiary education because of its expensive nature. So students bear a percentage, government also bears a percentage. And the government has put in place scholarship opportunities all over. We have the Get Fund Scholarship, we have the National Scholarship Authority facility also there for students who are vulnerable. Vulnerable in the sense that some of them are fending for themselves. So they have the opportunity to apply for these scholarships. I think we need to streamline the scholarship opportunities so that those who really need it have access to it. But those who don't need it, they leave the opportunities for the needy ones. Then we have the Students' Loan Plus also in place, where you are unable to fend for yourself. You can apply for that loan. Then when you leave the tertiary institution or the university, you can pay back. So that opportunity also exists. I would urge students to explore all these opportunities when they are in need. That is the bottom line. When you realize that you need it, I think you go in for it. Some may not need it, but still go for it because others are going. So I think going forward, we should distinguish between the needy students who really need support, either in form of a scholarship or a loan, to enable them go through tertiary education easily. I know many of them are going through hardships, and the government is taking steps to make sure that there's equity in the system. Those who need support are given the support. So we also need to look at the funding of tertiary education as a whole in the country. I know the commission that the president set up, the committee on education, also touched on that. And when the white paper is issued, I think government will come up with both steps that can help fund tertiary education in the country better than we have it now.
Honorable Nochukotwe, universities also raise concerns about funding, government funding to the universities as being inadequate, unable to really aid as they would have expected or they would like. And so how is government also looking at better resourcing our universities? A lot of universities are falling on foreign grants and support from some relevant agencies and all. And so government, the government factor is not really felt as massively as they would like. And so how does government also deal with it and then express themselves better? So
universities in the country must see themselves as a business entity. One, government is also supporting you with payment of salaries and other for other facilities, putting up the structures. Then the investors themselves must also make sure that they are business oriented. Yes, government is doing this. What can we also do as a corporate body? Because the universities are established as a corporate body. What can we also do to improve upon the quality or the standards or the facilities that are available for us? So I would rather suggest that the public universities should not be dependent solely on government. Some are able to earn grants and support from other organizations like UNESCO, UNICEF, and all those things to carry out their research programs and do certain things. So I will encourage them to do that so that they can earn more resources outside the country, and then they can use that to develop their university. Total dependence on the state will not help them. I think it is only the new universities that should be dependent on the state for some time. But a big university like University of Ghana, KNUST, UCC, they should not be dependent on government so much for subventions and many other things. That will not help the university grow.
Okay. Honorable Chikote, when you say that the university should also see itself as a business entity, how do you expect them to operate like that? I do not want to conjecture and say what I am thinking, but how do you expect them to see themselves as a business entity?
If you go to the universities, I think they have business centers. They have other things that they do apart from the fees that they collect from students and manage the university. There are other things they can do. They can enter into partnerships and make money and develop their universities. We have been making some suggestions to them. Do this, do this, do that. By even reducing your utility tariffs, like electricity. When they are putting up such as make a solar part of the structure so that you reduce your cost of electricity, and then whatever savings you make, you use it to do other things that will bring in more money. I know University of Ghana has farms. They can develop these farms, modern farming, and then they will be producing a lot of food items, process them, and then sell as a business entity and make more money. There are several ways they can make money. So I think they should be business oriented, not only teaching. No, they should do such things. I know University of Ghana, they are doing it. Other universities should also follow. Then they'll be able to make money.
Okay, but isn't the universities work primarily to impart knowledge, and so the teaching is the most important thing for the university? I don't know. There are some universities that are not up to the strength of the University of Ghana. They do not have the muzzle that the University of Ghana has, and so we would also expect them to do their best in doing some business work. Doesn't it rather burden them? Aren't we taking away from the core of the university what they are supposed to do, to be there to teach and impart knowledge?
You see, a university should not only concern itself with the academic knowledge that they are imparting. Go to Kufredo Technical University. They have developed a very good kind of yogurt. If they are able to improve upon it and expand it, they can do very well in that area. So me, whenever we meet, I tell them, take one area and develop it, and then you can earn income from it. So, as I just said, Kufredo Technical University, they are very good at that. Other universities can also do research into something that will benefit them. So they shouldn't just say that, oh, we are coming to impart knowledge. And students can learn those things and go out and employ themselves. So I strongly feel that they shouldn't just limit this to the classroom. No, they should be more business oriented. How do we develop our students? You see, not necessarily they come and sit down in the lecture hall. Then at the end of it, they award them with diplomas and degrees. There should be something. You see. So for me, I think they should develop their research outfits and do more for the universities and for Ghana.
Okay. Well, so government in this year, we are in a new year, Honorable Nochukotwe. What should we be seeing from your side as a committee on education, on supporting our tertiary institutions, so that they too can ease the burden that is on them and also do better for us in the knowledge impartation that they keep doing?
Oh, as a committee, we are there for the people of Ghana. This issue, which we are discussing about the fees and University of Ghana, came to our knowledge. We informed GTEC, and immediately they have taken action. So I feel strongly that we are there. We cooperate with any institution under the Ministry of Education that will need the support of the committee, so that whatever challenges they have, once we are made aware, we will be in a position to support them so that they can overcome that challenges. So we are there for them and we will support them always. Okay.
Honorable, before you go, I have a message about one of your comments about universities operating as business entities. Someone wants to find out that if universities must operate as business entities, where then will we find GTEC in there? Because now, if GTEC comes in to tell them that remove this from the fees, do this, do that, consult us, it will amount to meddling, wouldn't it?
No, the public universities are regulated. So you can't just get up on your own and do things that are not approved or are not legally sanctioned. So if you want to go and do some business that will help develop the university, you have a regulator. You have to discuss it. The university must always consult. They have a minister for education who is responsible for all institutions, educational institutions in this country. And once you want to do something that will benefit the entire university community, you must make sure that you go through the right process. We are only asking them, go through the right process. Every stakeholder must be informed and buy into the idea before you implement it. That is what we are saying.
Okay.
They are autonomous bodies, but there's a limit to their autonomy.
Honorable Nochukotwe, let me move away from the university a bit and to teachers who have not been paid their salaries. That will be my last question to you. We've been speaking with some teacher unions that have been complaining badly. Over 12 months of unpaid salaries. As at December, they said that they had only been paid 1 month's salary out of 12 months. They have been going to GES, going to the Ministry of Education, but they have received no concrete response. As a committee, has this come to your attention, sir?
Not officially, but my information is that these were groups of people who were hurriedly employed in 2024, November, when we are about to enter into the election 2024. And by doing so, they have not followed the due process. And then number two, my information also is that some of the appointments were fake. So they did not find place in the data. And government or the Ministry of Education is helping to regularize these appointments for them once they met the recruitment criteria or requirements.
Okay. Well,
so they have such challenges, and I'm told some have got, in that very group, have got their salaries paid to them. So the ministry, I am told, is working on it.
Okay.
And I tried to communicate with the Director General yesterday, and he assured me that they are making sure that they get everything as quickly as possible.
Okay.
They have worked all right, yes, but the manner in which they were recruited was questionable.
Well, Honorable, I'm actually very interested in the hurriedly aspects of your comment or your submission. However, in speaking with them, we also understand that any barriers have been taken away, concerns about when you were recruited and all, so much so that many of them have their ID numbers now, but the issue is the salaries are not coming. Oh, we have lost Honorable Peter Nochukoto. We look forward to speaking with him. We need to, yes, Honorable is back on the line. Thank you so much.
So for me,
yes,
I am sure that the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service will do something about it as quickly as possible. That's per the information made available yesterday by the spokesperson or the PRO for the Ministry of Education. So they should exercise patience as a committee. I think. Well,
Honorable, they mentioned that they've not been paid for 12 months, which is worrying. Only for many of them, is only 1 month out of the 12. And so there's really, very unfortunate we have lost Honorable Nochukotoye again. We'll see how we can establish contact again, maybe hopefully during the week, so we can speak with him more about the issues about the teachers who have been working without any payments. Honorable is back. Honorable, we are sorry we lost you.
I'm in the village, so the network is not helping.
Okay, we understand. Our regards to your constituents.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I was saying that in speaking with the teacher with the teacher unions, they say that out of 12 months, only 1 month has been paid. Many of them have been onboarded. It's not like they are working out of the vacuum or outside of the system. They have been onboarded. They are within the system. However, things are just lagging. They are not getting any information from GS or Ministry of Education like you have gotten, to the point where they say that they will have to take a decision of staying at home and not going to teach. And at the end of the day, it is the pupils who suffer. They have also gone ahead to threaten legal action because of this matter. This seems to be a perennial issue. Our teachers and the way they are handled, from CTAG to teachers who have just completed and are teaching. How do we deal with the education system payroll issue to ensure that after they have worked hard, they too can go home with the fruit of their labor?
Yeah, I have already said that the procedure by which they recruited them in 2024 was problematic.
How so, sir?
Due diligence was not done. The year was going to end, and we were in an election period. You go and hurriedly recruit people, and you don't make sure that they are given the necessary clearance, they receive their, the staff act.
We seem to have lost Honorable Peter Nochukotoye. We are, like he says, he's in his constituency and the network is not the best there, rather unfortunate. But we'll do want to have some more conversation with him, having been on the education committee for a very long time and now the chairperson of the committee. We'll do want to speak with him. Like he says, he's been able to speak with the PRO. The teacher union said they are even unable to get to the PROs, talk more of reaching the leaders. And so we'll see how far this matter goes. But the teachers tell us that apart from going on strike, they will be also pursuing legal action against the relevant authorities if their salaries are not paid. But that's all for Front Story this morning on ABC in the Morning. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you some more conversation. Do stay.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on. Come see you. Hey, wait, Jessica. My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh, na beka. Ye did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
And rising first just to get to work and school. During rush hours, private transport fares surge, leaving passengers frustrated but with few alternatives. In response to the situation, the Minister for Transport, Joseph Bukari, says the government has expanded the fleet of electric buses introduced under the previous administration to ease the burden on commuters. Some commuters say the introduction of electric buses has brought some relief, mainly due to their fixed and affordable fares.
It's between this bus and Ayalogo. From Accra, terminal to Adenta is 9 cities. But the reason why we always like this bus because the air condition inside is not like Ayalolo. Because Ayalolo, when you are standing inside, you cannot even breathe because it's too hot inside. Okay. So if they are even collecting 10 cities and it is not too much food, you'll be more comfortable on this bus.
However, concerns remain about limited routes and operating hours. Traders have appealed to the government to deploy more electric buses to support low-income earners, while others complain that the current route, limited to Adenta and Accra, fails to serve areas with high commuter traffic.
And so power kind of a and you try to be 12-15. I teach you as one line was it. Was a 20.
one. Abasana, and you found on your name about idea. Melton. Now, Lord, no money about you, best 40 in the number. But I can't remember.
Well, I'm staying for CMB. Before I will can't enter vehicle here, most important. Because outside vehicle, from here to Ashama, 15 city. Well, it's not supposed to be like that. But I don't know, it help us. It's nice to the 50 pesos. We thank God. May God bless Mama as he help all individual people. We advise you should buy more car to supply all people.
Oh, Abua. That's more than Abua. Say, look him out free. I want you to at the same time, so fair no so less money.
Nice to the 50 pesos.
Responding to these concerns, Head of Communications at Metro Mass Transit, Watara Mubarak, explained that only 10 electric buses are currently operational, running exclusively between Accra and Adenta due to limited charging infrastructure at both terminals.
Shortage of buses. At the moment, we have 10 EV buses. The EV buses are the buses that we use from Accra, Kimbu to Adenta stretch. For now, due to the road, we can't use the EV buses to any other part of the city. So Kimbu buses, we have 10 EV buses, electric buses that we use from Kimbu to Adenta every day.
He adds that management has extended operating hours to accommodate more workers, announcing plans to expand its fleet.
Every day. Now, the time of closing, we've increased the time from from 4 p.m. We've increased it up to 8:30 p.m. in the night due to the release that Transport Minister brought out. Then there is another route that we normally use from Accra to Kaswa, from Circle to Kaswa, and from Kaneshi to Kaswa. Then we have from Circle to Amasamai and the other areas.
Officials say more charging infrastructure is key to scaling operations. Freeman, the charging officer in charge of dispatching the electric buses, demonstrated the charging process, explaining that the facility currently has 5 charging ports, one of which supports 2 pumps.
Charging gun. After the charging gun, you get it into this. You press it like this, and then after that, you face the machine. Then it will tell you the card. Then when the card comes, then you press. It's a touch. It's a one touch. So if you press the card, you insert the card over here. Then it's telling you that start charging. So after start charging, then you press the charging. Then you come to the card. You press. You go this way. It's back to that.
Until more buses and charging stations are deployed, commuters say the electric buses offer hope, but not yet a full solution to Accra's daily transport struggle. Every day.
Well, you're welcome back from that report on our daily struggles as a people in the mornings and the evenings. We'll keep bringing the story, and we'll keep bringing you stories that are very important, that hit right at home. It's time for our main discussion. This morning on our discussion, we're looking at the NPP. 31st January is just around the corner, and the NPP's presidential primary race is heating up. Who's going to lead the NPP? Brian A. Champon, Kwabene J. Japan, Osei Duchum, Kennedy Japan, Mahmoud Baumia. Who is it going to be for the NPP? But it's been interesting so far. How do they manage themselves now and after? A lot of people are very much interested in the after. You look at any banter on social media concerning this election, and at least you will find 2 comments asking, how are you going to put yourselves together as a party after the primaries? Yesterday, one thing that was making the waves was former Finance Minister Honorable Stephen Amo's comments about former Deputy Finance Minister, beg your pardon, Honorable Stephen Amoah's comments about the former Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adam, and very, very heated debate on social media. Honorable Dr. Stephen Amoah was speaking about having been considered as Finance Minister only for Dr. Amin Adam to be giving the role because he claims Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia did not approve of him being in that role. And so yesterday it was a lot of rebuttals, especially coming from the Bawumia camp. They are giving history of Dr. Amin Adam and his work he had done for the NPP, talking about entitlements of some members of the NPP. Just a lot of comments because of that sentence from Dr. Stephen Amoah that came to light yesterday. And so again, the thing that is most prominent in all of the conversation is that how does the NPP reorganize itself after its presidential primaries? How do they do that? Now, there are those who believe that everything that is going on is just orchestrated against Dr. Bawumia, that the NPP and certain elements in the NPP are just not ready for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and so that is why they are doing all of what they are doing. But it's not just two people who are going into this election. It's not just two people. There are about 6 people going into this election. But now the whole focus has become on 2 people because of the comments from both camps and how heated it's been. But yeah, some of the comments I read, very worrying comments. Then again, we'll also be looking at this government, the John Dramani Mahama-led government, the second coming of JM. Tomorrow will be 1 year since John Dramani Mahama was sworn in as president. In that ceremony, colorful ceremony at the Black Star Square. The ceremony that also gave us the first female vice president in the country. 1 year on, how would you rate the reset agenda? Have we really reset the country as President Mahama and the NDC were looking at? And I'll start the conversation from there. Joining me is Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo. He is the Eastern Regional Chairman for the NDC. Good morning, sir. Thank you for your time and a happy new year to you.
Many happy returns, my sister. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I trust you're also doing well.
We are very well.
Great. Well, last year by now, I can imagine how the NDC was preparing for the swearing in of President John Dramani Mahama. It's been almost a year. Tomorrow will mark a year since President Mahama took that highest office of the land. Have you really reset the country like you promised us?
Yeah, let me once again say a very good morning to your viewers. And as I recollect, last year, by this time, it was a joyous moment because for many of us, it was like a second independence of Ghana. If you look at the economic trajectory where Ghana was heading towards to, anybody who was following the economic trend would have thought that another term for the MPP government was going to spell doom for the country. Most of the young people like me, like many others, had lost hope. A lot of joblessness, a lot of streetism, food inflation was on the high side. Me, myself, coming from the eastern region, where we have food basket, the farm planes, we were still leading in terms of food inflation. So you go to the market today, your purchasing power hasn't changed, but in terms of how much you can buy, it kept reducing. So the people had lost hope in the previous government. And in the words of Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency the former president, he had lost all the ideas and he had finished what he could do, and we're in a mess. We're in a fiscal mess, and only a new leader could save us from that mess. And luckily enough, by the grace of God and by the kindness of Ghanaians, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was re-elected. And we could feel the impact of that change now. Now, all the macroeconomic indicators are in reverse in terms of the trajectory, the original trajectory. We have seen positive gains. If you look at depreciation, we have hit all-time record since this republic. You know, for the first time, the cedi has appreciated, more than 20% against the US dollar and major currencies. In terms of interest rates are going down. If you look at inflation is down, and it's food inflation and all that is less than 10%, single digits inflation. And that meant so much for us, especially during this festive season, during the Christmas. It meant so much because prices were down. Those who were also importing goods were importing goods at favorable exchange rates. If in the for example, in 2024, if they had $10,000, they were importing with 170,000 Ghana cedis. This year, if they had the same $10,000, they were importing in terms of cedis around 100,000 or 110,000 Ghana cedis. That 60,000 margin, was good savings for business people, for the market women who go to China and all that. And that also translated into favorable prices for consumers, ordinary Ghanaians who went to the market. So in terms of the economic trajectory, we have seen relative stabilization for this particular 1 year. And it gives us so much hope that this year is going to be, very, very, very good, because now government can then focus on massive infrastructure, massive roads. We have already seen some of them, the sword being cut for some of them under the big push agenda, massive bridges, and massive agricultural projects. Now, government has the fiscal space to now spend in critical areas that matters to the ordinary Ghanaian and matters to the economy. So 1 year has been so good for us, and we are thankful to God. We are thankful to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his team, and we are very hopeful that this year we will consolidate the gains that we have made in the first year and even accelerate more.
You consolidate the gains you made in the first year and accelerate more. But let's pick some things one by one. Let's take a look at dealing with Galamsey legal mining. You are in the Eastern region, and Eastern region is one of the regions that's also hit by this very unfortunate environmental degradation, Galamsey. Would you say government has done a yeoman's job in fighting it? There were calls for a declaration of a state of emergency. We have not seen that yet. We see governments deploying a lot of blue water guards to go and help deal with the matter. why the marking time on that one thing that many have been very vocal about? But let me hold you for just a little while and welcome Dr. Samuel Efriye, political scientist at the Kumasi Technical University, and Honorable Akwesi Akwa, MP for Achimda. You're welcome, gentlemen, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Abena, and Happy New Year to you and also my co-panelists.
Well, thank you. Honorable Akwesi Akwa, do I have you?
Thank you very much, Abena. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining. Well, I'll come to you and pick your thoughts. I had just asked Dr. Makolebe Kevo a question. I would want him to answer that, and then I'll come to you and pick your thoughts. Dr. Kevo, Galamsey and the fight against it.
Morning to my co-panelists. Yes. Yeah, let me say good morning to my co-panelists too, especially my very good friend, Honorable Akwesi Akwa, my senior and my more like my brother. I've not heard from him this Christmas, so.
Yeah, because you're in government. No, because you're in government.
You are still my senior brother. You are still
when
my
you are
senior
in
brother.
opposition, when you are in opposition, we used to hear from ourselves. I was to hear from you that my hamper is ready. I should come for it.
Honorable, after this show, I'll call you. You are still my senior brother. You need to do your senior brother duties.
I'll be waiting for my hamper.
My sister, I think that we have all come to understand the impact of illegal mining, and various governments have made some attempts to curb these unfortunate incidents. And what Ghanaians we have come to agree on and accept is to measure the impact of fighting this galamsey by looking at certain physical characteristics. For example, the level at which the forest is being cleared down, being turned to galamsey sites, and also the level of turbidity of our water bodies, i.e. our rivers and all that. And that is how we most of the advocacy that we've been seeing, that is what they've been looking at as the key indicators to measure our response generally to the galamsey menace. And for me, we have not gotten to where we can say that we have totally, solved the galamsey menace. I cannot, especially coming from the eastern region, say that totally this particular problem has been solved. But let me commend government, especially the NIMOS, for their action, especially for some months now. You can see that there's some responsibility that you can observe as compared to the past. Now you find out that there's more people are entering into a more responsible mining, and you can check that, especially recently when government also repealed the LI that the previous government passed that allowed people to mine in the forest. Now that LI has been sent to Parliament, and I believe that it's been repealed, and it is unlawful and illegal now to mine in the forest. That is one step that for us is a good step, because to legally allow people to mine in those forests was to just that, hey, this forest can go down in the name of galamsey. So for us it's a one step also forward. And NIMOS actions, as I mentioned, has also clamped down a number of illegal galamsey sites. And in all, like I said, you look at the impact from the turbidity, and that is one objective way of measuring the quality of water that we have. And once the reported turbidity levels are getting lower and lower and lower, then it's also an indication that our resolve to fight galamsey is indeed seeing some positive signals. So for all in all, we are not there yet. I cannot say 100% that across the country we've been able to deal with galamsey, because it's not just a mining issue, but as I will put it, it's a socio-technical issue. The social aspect of it is there that government has to also deal with by providing alternative livelihoods. And again, because of the economy, you needed to also stabilize the economy, because the more the economy is in bad shape, that is how it also throws a lot of young people also into illegal mining and all that. And largely this year, government has been focused, as I mentioned, in making sure that the economic fundamentals are stable. And once it's stable, and once government starts spending and start entering into spending in other critical areas and all that, it also throws jobs out for young people and provide young people alternative livelihood.
Okay.
So largely government is focused, and I'm sure that it is yielding the results that we are all looking for. It's just a matter of time, and it will just be a thing of the past.
Okay. Now let me come to you, Honorable Alexander Kwesi-Akwah. 1 year President Mahama's government has been in power. Tomorrow will be exactly a year since President Mahama was sworn in. How would you assess the reset agenda?
Well, good morning to you, and Happy New Year to you. It's the first time we are getting to speak to each other.
Right.
For this year.
Happy New Year.
Let me see how I can unpack what my noble chairman, Chairman Kebo, just tries to put together. One, generally, the government has been very disappointing. It has been disappointing because they raised the hopes of Ghanaians. The kind of hope they gave to Ghanaians is not exactly what they are exhibiting. We know it is only 1 year. And 1 year on, we would have wished to see some of the things, treat some of the things. But you see, because their campaign was so heavy on propaganda, it is that same propaganda module they are using to govern. And so as of now, all the basic initiatives, social initiatives, economic initiatives they tried to introduce, they haven't presented any paper to Parliament. Parliament as a representative of the people, we haven't seen any paper. I mean, we've seen a lot of launching exercise programs going on. They have launched Big Push, they have launched this and all that. In the past, most of these things was once contained in the budget and they are presented to Parliament, they become the property of Parliament for Parliament to scrutinize. Now, budgets are brought to Parliament in the form of a statement. And so when you make some of these statements in the budget and you submit them to Parliament, it is not as if you have given a policy document to parliamentarians to scrutinize and add their views or make their views available to government. And so that alone should tell you that it is difficult for government to present these papers because some of these programs have not been well thought through. They were presented as purely propaganda gimmicks, and once in government, government is now trying to fine-tune them and make them acceptable to us. But it's 1 year on, so we want to give them that briefing space and see that during the next session of Parliament, maybe they'll present some of these documentations for us to look on.
Okay.
But I specifically heard Chairman talking about galamsey, and
Yeah.
Chairman knows that that is a subject area I would definitely want to go. Chairman is saying that once the economy starts booming, it becomes easier for us to get the Galamsey menace minimized. I want to submit humbly to Chairman that the kind of Galamsey that is going on now is just a matter of greed. It is not because the people who are engaged in the Galamsey do not have jobs to do. I have stated emphatically and on many platforms that there are a lot of places that if you are looking for masons and laborers to do your work for you, construction work, you are not going to get them, because all of them have now decided to turn to Galamsey. It means that there are avenues for them to work. There are projects for them to work on, but Galamsey pays better, and so they may not want to go for the by day that pays about 200 cedis or 150 cedis or 180 cedis, but want to go to the Galamsey pit and make about 1,000 cedis. We've spoken to most of them, and most of them will tell you yes, Galamsey is a means of amassing wealth, and then you go into something else. And so it is not the economic boom that will let people leave Galamsey. It is only because people are greedy and they will continuously chase monies where they can easily be found. Secondly, if government was so serious in fighting Galamsey, it is not to say that NIMOS is not doing well. I would personally say NIMOS is one of the good creations of this government, and NIMOS is working, even though government is not giving them the kind of attention that they need, but they are working so well. And Chairman should know that in his region, even within the last 2-3 weeks, there's been massive operations of NIMOS arresting Chinese officials who are within Galamsey sites working. You know, I mean, it has gotten to a point where the people care less. The Chinese officials, normally they want to invest in it and hide, but this time they are within the Galamsey operation sites and they are working. You know, they are working with careless abandon. They don't care anymore, because at the end of the day, they claim they have some government officials behind them. They claim, I mean, for the kind of bust arrest that came at Achimoda, for instance, about a week or two ago, the Chinese said, well, they are operating with some big men, and so they think that every documentation has been satisfied. But now it is not about the measuring of the turbidity of the water. We don't need a scientific measurement of the turbidity of the water. You walk past it and you see. I would prefer that Galamsey goes on in the forest rather than in the water bodies. Because you see, in the water bodies, you are actually killing a major source of livelihood. I mean, where people drink from. Ghana Water has had cause to complain about most of the water sources that they use in treatment for Ghanaians. Let's look at the Kwenyakon, for instance. It is totally shut down. Now, the Ghana Water operating within the Achimoda environs, 7 Akwetia, parts of Central Region and so forth, they are already complaining. Now, government officials have even shut them down. As they complain, government officials tell them they are complaining too much, but they should see what they can do. It tells you that government is complicit with this whole thing. If we look at the kind of campaign that NDC waged on the front of Galamsey, and in their era, we have an escalation of this exercise. I mean, it is uncalled for. And Chairman knows it. He is very uncomfortable with it because I know him. He is somebody who really wants to work for the NDC party in Eastern Region. He really wants to make a mark, as the name sounds, in Eastern Region. But the people on the ground are not giving him the opportunity. They are not supporting him, because if Chairman will go down as one of the chairmen in Eastern Region during the time of NDC, that certain things haven't gone on well, then we will be looking at Galamsey. Galamsey is really giving a black spot in the NDC administration as far as Eastern Region is concerned, and the whole of Ghana. And so if you look at it, I mean, much has been said, but very little has been done within this first year of the NDC government. And if we want to go by sector, we will tell you exactly how government has failed Ghanaians.
Well, we'll be looking at sector by sector, hopefully tomorrow on the show, and break it down so we can appreciate the NDC's reset agenda in the first year, especially as President Mahama had some things he wanted to do in his first 100 days. But let me go to Dr. Samuel Efriye and also pick his thoughts. Doc,
yes,
1 year of the reset agenda, has the NDC government really put Ghana on a path of reset?
Well, thank you once again, and also your cherished viewers and listeners as well. For reset, probably we will link up with the promises to Ghanaians. That is what, because it's a party agenda, and the party agenda that led into that have been being in government. So what they gave to Ghanaians is what we are going to use to measure. Is their reset. So that they presented to Ghanaians. So we want to know whether they have made that reset promise to Ghanaians. And so we might be looking at the general view of reset. Maybe, I don't know, when we pick sectors by sectors, it might be an issue to be looked at. But in general perspective, in all, we cannot say that they have a total reset based on their promises to Ghanaians. But if we talk about the economy in such, the economy, we might say that, well, they have able to stabilize the economy. So based on their economic promises to Ghanaians, we can say that they are making an improvement, or they are trying to make some inroads in the economy. That is also subject to other debate of how the economy is being stabilized in terms of the cedi and also prices of goods in relation to how people perceive these economic stability and their pocket as well. That is another issue to look at. I think the economic people will tend to give much more input about the econometrics of the NDC government's proposal, like what they said for Ghanaians. And we can even talk about the 24-hour economy. Well, we have not seen anything yet. We hope that soon they will come out with something to confirm about what their 24-hour economy is. When we come to the other sectors of the economy, when we talk about the mining, I think they have failed. They have failed in the sense that we have not seen a significant improvement. When we talk about a significant improvement, looking at the passion that the NDC government, the NDC in opposition, the way they were able to use to attack MPP government, the then government that led by Nanado, the passion that they were using for Nanado to be able to make the necessary changes, we have not seen that passion. All the things that they have been doing now is the old method that they used to combat Galamsey. So still Galamsey is still on. We can give them credit for the repeal, I think the repeal of the forest one, where people goes to the mining forest zones to mine. I think that one is good for. But actually, how they are combating the mining, the Galamsey, I think it's we have not seen any much passion that they were trying to push for the MPP government in 2024 for them to end Galamsey. Still, they are doing it. Still is on. Still, we are still using the old method of this. That is the military moving to destroy the accoutrement of these miners, Galamseyers. So still, there are issues that we have not seen any much. We talk about 9 months moving here and there. That is what we have been using all the time. But we believe that they will still, the passion that they wish to talk about, even state of emergency and those kind of things that they wish that the previous government could have done. I think Galamsey, for some of us, we have not seen much kind of impact that they want us to believe that they are doing it. For the judiciary, I think that it has been politicized, and that is one of the big mark for this government, that posterity will determine whether that decision that they used to remove that is the Chief Justice, it has been politicized, because so far we've seen that even though everything is done by legal means, but the perception and the process and the action, the seriousness that they used to make those changes give much room for perspective or certain kind of negative perception about some of these things. So nobody can erode that the judiciary that they've touched by making it political will have a greater impact on our democracy. Because if you can use any other means, the normal procedure or whatever procedure, and then fine, but it was a politically inclined agenda based on what they made statement on their political platform that they will remove Chief Justice, and then probably now we're talking about the EC as well. So for governance and maybe let's say the judiciary, I think that the reset based on them, they think that the reset is for that purpose, changing the Chief Justice and making sure that the Supreme Court is balanced. That is what I remember that the President Mahama said one time ago when they were meeting these the NDC lawyers. They think that is not balanced, so they want to ensure that they also. So far they've been able to make more than 100 appointments to the judiciary, and nobody will talk about how. Nobody will just say that it is not inclined in terms of political agenda, and that one. Therefore, some of us, we see that for them to touch that sector, that arm of government where you can easily, the word underlined, easily can remove a third arm of government so easily, makes it a touch on our governance system that area is now a political arm. So now we have the executive, we have parliament, and we have the judiciary. All of them is now seen as a political arm of our governance system. So Abna, for us, and I think that one thing that the reset we have not seen yet is the employment situation. Still, I think their party members are complaining, Ghanaians, others are also complaining, all because they have not seen that kind of agenda of people being employed in that area. And we believe that maybe it's just 1 year, so we hope that the continuous year for the president will tend to make some areas. So based on their promises that they made to Ghanaians, for their reset, I'm just based on their promises. For January, well, for them, they will say that they have made a lot, but some of us, we see that it's plus and minuses. So.
Okay, but how does this also set the tone for the next 3 years? President Mahama has done 1 year. He has 3 years more to deliver his mandate to the Ghanaian people. And also, it will also be something on which his government or his party, beg your pardon, can build on for 2028. And so for what has been done in the first year, how does it set the tone for the NDC in advancing their course as a party?
You see, for them, I think that the government of the day should try to ensure that the economy or the economy of this country, or what they are talking about, stability of the city and those things, will be the only best achievement, as the MPP were trying to use free SHS as a mark. Even though the MPP gave the government, that is the people of Ghana, free SHS, they were voted out because it was not only free SHS that can measure the totality of a Ghanaian. So they should not think that just stabilizing the city, maybe having some prices being stable, will conclude that they are doing well, so they can not perform in other sectors of the economy. And that is what they have to be very cautious about that. So they have to focus on the agenda they set for Ghanaians. If it's Galamsey, they have to fight it. If it is about 24-hour economy, they have to ensure that they implement it for people to get jobs. If not, and they think that is only the city and the what we call it, the prices. But you look at the cost that we are using to maintain the stability of the city. The question is how sustainable that we want to find ourselves. So in general, if the economy is not balanced, if they don't ensure that private people get involved in the economic activities of this country, I'm sorry that we will get to a midpoint within the term of this government, And that is where the sustainability, because if now prices of gold comes down, our city will be will face a lot of challenge. That is how we've been given that perspective. That is the gold prices that the savings that we have is what we are using to stabilize the economy of it. So far, they are saying that we have used a lot of money, billions of cedis to maintain the stability. So how sustainable is it? If that being the case and they want to continue it for the next 3 years, what will be the value of that amount and what that value can also be used for other sectors of the economy. So I think that they have to ensure that the economy is well balanced, not being seen as a thin legs with big stomach somewhere, but they have to ensure that other areas of the economy are being pushed out. If you're talking about infrastructure, fine, but I think that the greatest area that they have to look at is the agricultural sector and also the technological aspect of that is the ICT, talking about these young ones, so that we give them a lot of employment for them to be able to get something to do. But in if not, I'm sorry, and I think that they also have to look at our governance system, because now people are now being perceived, that perception of being political, all state institutions are politicized. So that's the perception. So they have to do, especially the judiciary, as I said earlier, they have to let the system be seen as not as we perceived to be politicized. Okay. And I think it's the government responsibility to let Ghanaians believe in that thinking. If not, then the reset will be for them, but not for Ghanaians. And if anything happens, maybe they will tend to have a different perspective. Because now, if President Mahama is not able to perform as expected, of which the NDC will come up a new flag bearer, it will be very difficult for them to sustain their power. Now, Ghanaians or the electorate are becoming more wiser, not meaning that they are not wise, but they are now becoming discerning enough to look at how politicians tend to trick them in terms of them to vote for them, and when they come, a different story is being given out.
Okay, now let me go back to you, Dr. Kevo. Finally, what on this conversation, not with the entire conversation, how does this 1 year set the tone for the NDC government and also the party as a whole? You are more in touch with the grassroots as a regional chairman and all. How does the success of President Mahama in power help or aid the work you do at a regional level and even the grassroots level? Honorable Kevo, we are unable to hear you. Kindly turn on your microphone, sir.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Thank you.
For us, this is a legacy term for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He's supposed to leave a legacy for Ghanaians, and he's on the path of it. And that, of course, will impact on our fortunes in the 2028 elections. And that is a reason why it is our responsibility as a political party to support him, to make sure that he succeeds and whatever promises that we've made to Ghanaians, to a very large extent, we deliver those promises. And let me just mention that it is not true that the judiciary is being politicized. Democracy is supported by institutional structures and mechanisms. And part of the institutional structures allows the removal of a Chief Justice by Ghanaians. And there are processes and mechanisms for achieving that. And once it happens, it does not necessarily mean that somebody is politicizing, unless the person who is analyzing is also analyzing through his own partisan political lens. But for us, it is a normal, standard judicial process that has happened. Nothing has happened. We are still moving on as Ghanaians. The judiciary is still functioning. People still go to court and they still obtain justice, and nothing has happened. So people should not be emotional that they feel that somebody appointed as a Chief Justice and that Chief Justice has.
Okay, we seem to have lost Dr. Macaulay Keba. We'll establish contact with him, and then we'll have some more conversation with them. We still have with us Dr. Samuel Lefriye, and we'll look forward to also establishing contact with Honorable Akwesi Akwa. We'll be looking at the conversation on the NPP, which will be coming to very, very soon. Very interesting dynamics going on in there within the party as they gear up for 31st January going into the polls. I'm particularly glad Dr. Samuel Lefriye is here as a political scientist himself. We see if the NPP is still digging themselves into a hole that they may not be able to come out from, or this is all part of electioneering. But at the moment, we are looking at President Mahama's 1 year in government. The Eastern Regional Chairman for the NDC, Dr. Macaulay Keba, was speaking before we lost him. We'll establish contact with him. We have back with us Honorable Alexander Akwesi Akwa, the MP for Achimda. I really want Honorable Dr. Macaulay Keba to land before I move into the NPP conversation. I don't want to switch and then come back. But Honorable Akwesi Akwa, whilst we wait for your brother Macaulay Keba to come back. Okay, I understand Dr. Macaulay Keba is back. Hello, sir. Dr. Keba, do I have you back with me? Hello, Dr. Keba.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. I'd like for you to land before I move on.
Okay. So there were a number of both academic papers, practitioners' papers, research and all that pointed to the fact that our judiciary needed reforms. It got to a point that our National Security Minister under the MPP, Honorable Kandapa, had to express his frustration and the fact that Ghana was in danger because of the predictability of the outcomes of certain political decisions, and he thought that it was moving towards a particular direction, and that itself was becoming a threat for our country. So to pretend that there was nothing wrong with the judiciary and that Ghanaians had no remedies to it and all that is just being disingenuous. So for us, every society must reform, and it is not just the duty of the executive. Citizens can also initiate actions. The president has a role to play, or others also have roles to play. Okay. So let me just be emphatic that the judiciary has not been politicized. Presidents have been given the mandate to appoint justices of all the High Court, the Appeals Court, and the Supreme Court. And this is not the first time a president is doing those appointments. And for anybody to describe such a process as a politicization, the person may be lacking understanding. We are very happy. This is for this time. The government has also decapped resources that the local government institutions will have access to. And if you come to the Eastern region, for example, it's giving them the opportunity to build chip compounds across all the 33 districts. It's giving them opportunity to build new schools across all the 33 districts. We are building ultra-modern 24-hour markets across all the 33 districts. This is real infrastructure that we are delivering to our people. And if this is not new, and if this is not a reset, then I do not know what else to call this. So for us, the outlook is very, very bright. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is on the path to deliver a legacy mandate that has never happened in this Fourth Republic. And for anybody to downplay the impact of the economic upturn, from where we came from, where there were haircuts, where pensioners for the first time had to be on the streets to fight for and defend their meager salaries that they earn, their meager pensions and all that, to now that we are even able to pay our international obligations ahead of schedules and all that, we are able to meet statutory obligations. You know, this Assembly Common Fund, the cap and is going, Get Fund, projects are ongoing and all that. It shows you, the positive signals that is happening. And to say that inflation doesn't matter anymore, or depreciation doesn't matter anymore and all that, then you are really downplaying what we mean by an economy. When you say that we should also focus on other sectors of the economy, it is the aggregation of all sectors of the economy that produces the macroeconomic indicators that we are looking at and we are observing now. And everything is positive. Growth is positive. We are growing close to 6%, and that is very, very positive for a government that has come from a very deep hole, to where we are now. Means that this particular government has done so much.
Okay.
So Ghanaians should be proud that they have a government that is focused, a government that is disciplined, a government that has cut its expenditure. We are doing all this, mind you, with just under 60 ministers. Just under 60 ministers. The previous government that they tend to defend had over 100 ministers and could not deliver these results that we have now.
Okay, now
so
let me quickly go.
Achievements are uncomparable, and it's even disingenuous for anybody to try to do any comparison.
Okay, now let me go to Honorable Alexander Kwesi-Akwa. We have 3 years more of President Mahama leading the country. Are you inspired for what is to come?
Well, in our Kan parlance, we have a proverb that says that if a market will be very, very profitable, it starts from the morning. And so once the first year is nothing to write home about, we cannot be too sure, especially when we know that most of the promises they made, the campaign pledges, the campaign promises, were all scams. I mean, we had always tried to understand what the 24-hour economy meant. Now, 24-hour economy has been reduced to the building of new markets, even in places where you don't need markets, because they just want something associated with 24-hour. You look at the health sector, you want to look at the Mahama Care. Mahama Care, we thought that government was going to introduce an innovative ways of solving our basic health needs. No, but you go to health insurance, pick up monies accrued to health insurance, and set up a new organization and say that they should take care of a particular disease burden, which could have easily been incorporated into that of the NHIE, like we have done in the past. NHIE started from some levels of the disease burdens, and it has grown. We have added on. So whatever Mahama Care is taking care of could have been given to NHIE to take care of. But rather you take money from NHIE and give it out, set out a new organization and call it Mahama Care for them to look at a particular disease burden. So if you look at it critically, they just want to fix something. They just want to represent something. They just want to do something to represent something, just to let Ghanaians know that they are performing. And that's what I'm saying, that is so dangerous, because you see, like it's been said already, the average voter, the average Ghanaian voter has become sophisticated. They will not give you an indication of their displeasure. We didn't know that when we were in government. But you see, it was also because the kind of propaganda that was used against us was so much. Now we are not going to do propaganda. We are only analyzing the kind of promises they made to Ghanaians, and we are joining Ghanaians to ask, you said this, why have you not been able to do? You were talking about automatic posting to teachers and nursing. Now, for the first time, we have teachers at home, but they will tell you there are some recruitment exercise going on undercover, and people are being asked to pay as much as 20,000 Ghana cedis to be able to get some of this recruitment. Why should the average Ghanaian pay money before they get recruited when they have been trained? You understand? Meanwhile, you promise an automatic It means that immediately the person finishes with school and goes to national service, it becomes easier for the person to be rolled on to the government sector. I mean, you rather came and sacked people from public service, and you are not adding to it. You are not able to add to it. So like I said, if we had the opportunity to do sector by sector, we will tell you the NDC government, the Mahama II government was just a sham. It's just a sham. And I'm wondering how they will be able to contain the same pressure for the next 3 years, because you cannot, I mean, after the last year, coming into the second year, you cannot come and be given excuses. You cannot come and try to explain. We need to see action. We need to see that the government is up and running. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, now, yes, they made a promise to the Okada people. A law has been passed. But what are some of the things that were supposed to have been put in place to make the riding of Okada, the use of Okada for commercial purposes, safer for Ghanaians? Because you just made a promise, you just unleashed such danger on Ghanaians. But one would have thought that, I mean, to pass this law, you would need a particular route or particular route by the motor riders, so that when people are on it for commercial purposes, they become safer. It has not been done, and there are no plans for that. So let's look at it sector by sector. Every initiative that seems to have been introduced, it's only a sham. It's something just to represent something. And so I am wondering how they will be able to soak this pressure between now to the end of this year and to 2027, when we will be putting ourselves together for a new election, 2028. Now we seem to be celebrating the economy, but there's a lot of discussion. There's a lot of narratives going on with regards to how our CD has been strengthened. If our CD can only be strengthened by pumping more dollars at a huge cost, this is something that any other person can do, then we do not understand the kind of economic rules that this country has. So we need to go beyond what we see on the surface. The people in government will not tell us the truth. They would definitely want to keep Ghanaians in the dark. But we are here. If civil society and the media will come together and would stop talking about how ill we treated them. I have had the opportunity to speak with some civil society members, and privately they will tell you, yes, we are not talking. We cannot talk because you guys treated us unfairly. And so, yes, NEC can do whatever they want to do. Wow. I said, wow. I mean, if we want to reduce it to how fairly we treated you and how unfairly we treated you, then we are not doing any good to ourselves as Ghanaians. Okay. Because at any point in time, you will not have me praising this government. I mean, except when it's very, 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 very obvious. Otherwise, we need the CSOs to come in to give that kind of analysis that will let Ghanaians know that, well, we voted for the wrong government. All right, Honorable Kwesiakwa. Let me quickly move on to your party now, the NPP, and I'll start with Dr. Samuel Efriye. Doc, it's just about some 24 days until the NPP elects a flag bearer. And one would have thought that some of the direct hits would have lessened by now, but it seems not to be lessening. The hits are coming. Yesterday, what made the news was former Deputy Finance Minister Stephen Amwa taking a shot at the former Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adam, through Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, and concerns have been raised about tribalistic comments, tribalism and all. Do you foresee the NPP being able to organize itself after they have elected a flag bearer? Or this is the beginning of the end of the New Patriotic Party? Hello, Doc.
Yeah, hello.
Yes,
can
Doc.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Did you catch my question, sir?
Yes, please.
All right, Doc.
You know, for some of us, we see it as normal in the sense that when it comes to political peak, like when we talk about the peak season for political campaigns, some hard statements or some of these things are about to happen, no matter what. Even our normal campaigns, even our institutions and various places, you might see some of these things where people might trade some of these cards. But it's quite unfortunate that, Stephen Amwa has been noted for that agenda because he has been on that trajectory of trying to play that card. And I see it as an unfortunate situation when he was making that statement during their campaigns, where I see it as a selfish agenda because you saw it and you might have interpreted it in a certain way. Does not mean that you want to tell people that this is what the situation. And that is quite unfortunate. So sometimes you have to be very careful that your personal experience or your perspective or your perception, you cannot use it to interpret it in the general circles. When it comes into that perspective, then we see you, the personality, as a selfish interest that you want. Everybody has a selfish interest, one with the other. That is why you follow a certain individual or a candidate. But you have to be very careful so that it cannot be seen that it is only your interest that you tend to portray. Some time ago, he made the same statement. And that's what I'm saying, that he has to be very, very careful of that kind of trajectory that you always want to go into that trend of trying to play that tribal card. He has been one of the personalities that is portraying that agenda from the Kennedy camp. And he has to be very, very careful. Because if not, it will not help Kennedy that agenda. You have a way of saying things if you have been, should I say, been treated wrongly. But if you have been treated wrongly based on your perception, you cannot just make it in the total conclusion that this is what is going on in that thinking. So, so I think that for that campaign, I think Kennedy has to be very careful. That is the former deputy minister Stephen Amwa.
Okay, but for the NPP as a whole, how does this shape the party? How does this shape it? The kind of jobs that are coming from personalities just because of a flag bearership race. Is this really the end of it? If you want to be a leader, how does the party itself also whip the people in line? Because it seems to suggest that the NPP is not releasing statements, they are not giving directives, they are just sitting aloof and watching the way all of the campaign towards a flag bearership race is going. And so is the party losing it?
I think my role and the perspective of the current executive of the party leadership. When the party leadership is not functioning well, if the party leadership is weak, you see some of these things coming up, right? And always I compare with the NDC leadership, how they manage their party members as compared to the NPP. And that shows how weak they are. I think of late, you realize that how Fifi Kwete came out to make a statement about President Mahama Tetem by some of their party members being sick over. That is a strong party secretary. A chairman will come out and issue a party. This is the party stand. And if anybody flouts those things, you see that the chairman will come out with a statement and will call the person into order. So all these things that is going on, I think that majority of it stem from weak leadership of the MPP that has resulted into some of these, excuse me to use that word, these useless statements from some personality of the party. So that is the other side of it. And that does not make any party member also to tend to make some accusations and tag people. You see, now research have proven that Ghanaians don't vote mostly on tribal and religious lines. So if within the party you come out with that agenda, you will fail. I have not so far in our political experience, we have not turned out any research that depends or that tends to indicate that your religious background and your tribal makes it a priority for Ghanaians to vote for you. No, that is not. I have not seen. Maybe anyone that is listening to me can just prove me wrong by coming up with the research. They believe in about how Ghanaians believe that you want to solve their problems for them. So if within the party you come up with this agenda, then when you come out within the party and you present that personality, what do you want others to see? And that is what is very bad for some personality within the party tend to play that card of tribal and religious inclination for their party candidate to be selected. That is quite unfortunate. So I believe that the leadership, those people that are into it, people that are into those kind of leadership, President Kofo and other personality, should come in and so that they talk to some of these. If not, after all these campaigns and maybe 31st, after 31st, how are you going to handle some of these accusations by that tagging people on that kind of issues? So, it's a dicey way for the party, and the party needs to sit up. And I was just even praying that they will have strong party executive members so that they can tend to manage the party and to face them hard in certain kind of the political landscape.
Well, now let me come to you, Honorable Alexander Kwesi-Akwah. You are within the party, an MP who also identifies as belonging to the Bawumia camp. But let me move away from your camp and look at it from your party lenses. When you see all that is happening, does it inspire any fear in you about the future of the NPP?
Well, let me put on record that I feel so disappointed in discussing this matter. And I feel so bad in discussing this matter because Dr. Stephen Amoah is one of the closest people I have been with, even before we worked in Parliament together. I worked with him when we were in health insurance. He's been a close associate. I mean, there were times he was one of the people who was pulling me to the Kennedy camp and all that, you know. So I know him. I know Steve as a personality who is so passionate about whatever he does and whatever he says. And a lot of times he will say things that he doesn't necessarily mean them, but because of the passion that is associated with whatever he says, it ends up making him come under public scrutiny like we're doing now. I don't necessarily fear. It doesn't put too much fear in me because I saw the Edubuahin and Kufuor era in '92 because I was a bit closer to Edubuahin. And so I knew the West was done. I knew it was done. But perhaps it was at a period where social media wasn't there to carry some of these things. And so whatever was said, the traditional media will not report of it. It is only the people who will be there, who could hear, and then those times you have a Walkman or a recorder that you can record and play it somewhere else and all that, you know. But this time it becomes a bit difficult to take because social media amplifies it. One reason why I chose to belong to the Dr. Bawumia camp is that I knew he wasn't going to condone some of these things. I mean, if you went out there and made any statement like this, he would definitely have a private conversation and tell you, this is not how I want to campaign. And so it's a bit unfortunate. It's a bit unfortunate that my brother will get into such annals, you know, and I only wish that we take his explanation. I've seen him trying to explain it in a certain way here and there. And clearly, what it tells you is that he may not have meant it the way we have taken it, you know. And so I wish we let it slide. I wish we let it slide. This is not the first time. It's happened before, and so I know it's a bit difficult for people to take it and let it slide as I'm suggesting. But hey, it's a political season. We have some few days yet. After these few days, I'm sure it becomes easier for us to come together because we all love MPP. We all love MPP. MPP is the thing that has brought us together. Some of us may have some relationship and association before NPP, but NPP has brought us together, is bound us together more than any other thing. And so it makes sense now to me why we are doing our presidential primaries earlier. It makes sense to me now, more sense to me now. Yeah.
But indeed, can you come back together? Would you have the full complement of your party coming back? I don't know if you've come across some messages on social media about we are not throwing our support behind this candidate if that candidate wins the flag bearership race. And so really, would you, if it were 100% after this flag bearership race, would you still have your 100%?
Well, we will. Like I'm saying, the average NPP member is more formidable in opposition than in government. In opposition, the average NPP member almost all of a sudden awakens from their slumber and gets to know that we are out of power. So whatever we need to do to get to power, we are going to do it. And so you just watch it. After 31st, every other person will lower their guns and come together for us to rescue this country.
Okay. Well, let me come to you, Dr. Makoleva-Kevo. You see what's happening to your colleagues in the NPP. What does it tell you? Is it something that tells you that you need to also start preparing yourselves ahead of the flag bearership race that will also happen in the NDC? Dr. Friye talks about the kind of leadership you have in your party, and this is not the first time he's touted the NDC national leadership. And so what different thing are you doing that the NPP is not doing for which we are seeing such differences?
Yes, in situations like this, one of the mistakes the NPP did was to shift the rules of the game along the game. When the game starts and you shift the rules of the game, it becomes a problem. Now, one thing is that their national executives are also struggling for legitimacy. Okay. They do not have legitimacy now. And that is the reason why they are unable to properly direct how the campaigns should go. Because they themselves, their legitimacy will be determined after these flag bearership elections. If it were the other way around, which had been the traditional standard process, where we elect from bottom to the top, they started from the top and now they are going to go to the bottom. So now everybody who has a duty to make sure that the right thing is done is unsure whether their legitimacy will be renewed after the flag bearership elections. And that is one critical thing that is challenging the NPP now. And that is the reason why everybody is able to wake up any day and say anything and go scot-free, and nobody does anything to them. For example, I don't know what has happened to Abronye after the General Secretary invited him. He told the General Secretary on TV that they can't do anything to him. Until now, we have not heard any disciplinary action against him. This will not happen in an NDC party where a regional chairman makes wild allegations. He is invited by a General Secretary, for example, Fifi Kwete writes to invite me, and I, as a regional chairman, still have the audacity to dare him, and I'll still be here speaking as a regional chairman. It won't happen in NDC. So these are some of the lack of discipline, lack of respect for rules, lack of respect for the constitution of the party. That in itself is a defect towards organizing any party, especially when you are coming from opposition, when you don't have the the luxury of being in government. You know, you need to be binded by fast rules and fast regulations and make sure that people who are going astray are disciplined. We are speaking here of Steka, Honorable MP Stephen Amwa, as if he is the only one, you know, that is going astray. You know, I mentioned abroad here the likes of Katie Hammonds and the things that they have also said about other candidates, and nobody has called them to order. You know, that is what leadership is about. When people are going astray, you call them to order, and that is how people are able to respect the authority. People are able to respect your rules, and people have confidence that whatever outcome that, you know, the process delivers is free, fair, and acceptable. When these things happen and nobody's talk about them and all that, that is where you have breakaways, when people are unsatisfied because they don't even trust the process to address their concerns. You know, so for us, we think that these are lessons that we also learn. We don't propound solutions, you know, based on people's understanding of what the problem is. You know, if they had really analyzed why they lost the 2024 elections, they would have probably had solutions that better addresses their challenges. But for a whole system to think that no, we need to find a way of making one person the flag bearer by hook or crook, and so let's redesign the whole structures that have been historically.
Dr. Kevin, is that what you see, that the system is trying to make one person?
That is why you see these tensions emerging. You know, people have been used to certain rules that have been historically conditioned over a long time, that has worked. You know, imagine Honorable Wisiakwa wakes up to contest again, and all of a sudden the rules that determine how somebody should be a parliamentary candidate in his constituency changes, you know, all of a sudden to his disadvantage. You understand? You can imagine the tensions that it will breed.
So you think the NPP has a system candidate?
That is what is happening. They are forcing to push a system candidate against very strong forces that have emerged. And those strong forces that are emerged are not just walkovers. And that is the challenge that they are having now, especially with a very large perception that the candidate that the system is trying to push is a candidate that is bound to lose again in 2028.
Wouldn't you rather be happy as an NDC party?
Of course we are. I'm analyzing as a practical political practitioner, and not just because I'm happy that these things are happening. Because again, we also need a stronger opposition. I won't wish anything bad for my opponent, but I'm looking at the systemic challenges, what has, you know, the structures and the mechanisms that have delivered what the tensions that we are observing now in their party now. That is what I'm analyzing. And I'm saying that largely because of the big failure in 2024, there's also the perception in the minds of many that they will need a fresh face, they will need a fresh candidate, and only a fresh candidate can match up with the NDC in 2028.
In any case, Dr. Kevo, there already comments that it's not even rosy in your party, the NDC, and that it's just because at the moment you have not started actively looking for a flag bearer. It may even be worse than the NPP.
It must not really be. Any political process that delivers a leader is not a walk in the park. Let us first understand that. Let us first understand that to elect somebody to become a president is not a walk in the park. It is not selling fan ice in the market. It is not a pleasant process. Okay. You understand that? People will have to align with others and all that. But what I'm saying is that you must have a strong leadership to tailor the process. You must have a strong leadership people believe in. You must also put in place the mechanisms, the processes, your rules and regulations must be familiar and must be fair and must not be designed to impose one person on the whole system. When you do that, then even though you may have a leader emerging, his acceptability becomes a challenge. And at the end of the day, you impose a burden on you to make sure that that particular leader emerge as president.
Okay.
So if indeed you are not just electing an opposition leader, and you intend to make sure that that opposition leader proceeds to become a president, then you must make sure that you have fair processes. You must make sure that you keep people in line. You must make sure that you treat each and everybody equally. If somebody is called Abronye and is campaigning, for the vice president or for the system candidate, and the person is deterred or is going wayward, there must be a system to bring that person to book. Just the same way that if somebody is also following Dr. Maya Champon or Honorable Ekene Japan, if you treat people fairly in that manner, and at the end of the day, the processes are fair, and that nobody feels cheated, then at the end of the day, whoever emerges, it becomes very easy for you to consolidate and come together to be able to prosecute whatever agenda that you want to add.
Okay.
But now, for now, the tensions are not very healthy for them, and they should also understand that there is a receptacle party that is also waiting for them. You know that the UP Plus has been formed, and it has been formed as a receptacle party, awaiting for the fallout of the whatever that happens in this primaries in the next few weeks. But I wish them well, and what the outcome will help deepen our democracy. We want all political parties to grow. We want them to also, imbibe in them democratic processes. But in all, they must have very strong leadership.
Okay, all right.
If political parties are stronger even than government, it helps to shape our democratic processes.
Okay. Dr. Kebo, thank you so much. Gentlemen, I'm so grateful that you joined me today. But Honorable Akwesi Akwa, you have a message from the Ebuakwa North NPP First Vice Chair. He says that I should greet Wafa Kwesi Akwa for him. Daniel Obeng Akwa sends his regards to you, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Daniel. But before we go, let me remind my very favorite chairman in NDC that when the General Secretary dared to make a statement against the third term bid of the president, he has had a lot of backlash from a lot of NDC supporters, NDC members on social media. It clearly tells you that, look, all is not well. Now is our time. We are doing it early. And like I'm saying, I'm so happy. I can now see the sense in why we're doing it early. Whilst we are doing ours, they should take a cue from whatever is happening to us and put a very big polytank beside their beard, because whatever fire that will stoke in their beard, they will definitely need the polytank to be able to quench it. We have seen what is happening, and I can promise you that by the end of 31st January, we are going to come together and be as one party and take them out of office. But for them, people are pushing for the president's third term. The General Secretary dared to speak up against it, and he's under fire all over on the social media. It clearly tells you that he doesn't have that control. He doesn't have that control. If he did, once he's spoken, every party member was going to be quiet. And he knows. My chairman knows it. Chairman Kevin knows that all is not well with the NDC. But we are watching. We are going to do ours in 25 days.
All right.
They should take a cue, and then afterwards put a big polytank beside their beard, because the fire that will stoke into their beard, it might burn the body.
Okay. Well, thank you, Honorable Akwesi Akwa. Dr. Friye, we thank you so much. Doc, since we have about 25 days to watch the NPP, we'll be looking forward to seeing how it pans out. And again, we'll be coming to you for more conversation. Honorable Akwesi Akwa and Dr. Makevo, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. We hope the people of the Eastern region are doing well. We send our regards to them.
Thank you
very much for having us.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us today on the main discussion. We've had a great conversation. You can call us and share your thoughts on all the conversations we've been having. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Ghana Speaks is up next.
Everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Call us and share your thoughts with us on all the conversations we've been having today. We've been speaking a lot this morning on ABC in the morning. Now it's time to hear your voice on Ghana Speaks, because it's your voice that matters and your voice alone we want to hear. 053-916-1609. The number is on your screens. Please call and share your thoughts with us. This comment is from Teacher Kujo Tepa Enyinesusu. Teacher Kujo says, the NDC seems complacent when it comes to the 2028 general elections. However, it's likely to shock them to the marrow if they fail to conduct a critical analysis. Now, what happens if President Mahama exits after this current term and they hold primaries? One can expect to hear more disgusting words being used to address fellow party members. Massive cracks will begin to develop within the NDC. Wide divisions will start to emerge, and then there could be a total crash of the party. What happens next? The NPP takes advantage. Greetings to Chairman Odenehu Kwekwapiakoka and Honorable Eric Nanajeman Prempe MP for Hafwa North. This is Teacher Kujo Tepenyunususu sending in his comment. Let's also hear from you. You can call us and share your thoughts with us. GTEC has directed the University of Ghana to reverse the 2025-26 academic year fees. You can share your thoughts with us on that. But tomorrow is 1 year since President Mahama was sworn in as president. How would you rate the reset agenda? You can call us and share your thoughts with us on that. The NPP goes into primaries on 31st January 2026. You see, all that has been building up until now. It's been shot fired here and there. what does it, what do you make of the NPP's journey to its flag bearership primaries? You can call us and share your thoughts with us. Would love so much to hear from you. I would particularly be really grateful to hear your voice this morning on ABC in the morning. It is Ghana Speaks, Your Voice Matters, and your voice alone we want to hear. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. You can call us and share your thoughts with us. Let's hear what you two have to say on all that is happening. But last year, President Mahama was sworn in. You see on your screens the ceremony last year at the Black Star Square, the place many of us call the Independence Square. President Mahama swearing in, the second coming of JM. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call us and share your thoughts with us. How has the research agenda been so far? How has the research agenda been so far? Let's hear what you have to say. Let's hear what you have to say. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Let's hear you and what you make of the president's research agenda so far. And NPP going into flag bearership race, their candidates are all over, speaking here and there, getting their delegates on their side. Everybody is selling their message, but the sale of their message has not been just easy. It's also come with its own concerns, shots from various camps, the comments, the jabs and all. Does the NPP recover after this? Will the NPP recover after this? It's one of the questions that has been asked a lot. Will the NPP recover after one of the candidates is chosen? Will the NPP recover? Seeing as the shots have been here, there, and there. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello, good morning. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Oh, we've lost the caller. Please call back. Let me hear you. Let's hear what you have to say. 053-916-1609. President John Dramani Mahama, second coming of JDM. He's already 1 year, and so he has some 3 years more. Are you impressed with the research agenda? Are you impressed with how President Mahama has been handling the country so far? You can share your thoughts with us. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call us and share your thoughts with us. The NPP's primaries is also coming up 31st of January 2026. Call us and share your thoughts with us. What are you seeing? Do you think the NPP will get better after this? Do you see them organizing themselves even better? Share your thoughts with us. Let us appreciate what you have to say. This is Ghana Speaks. It's your voice that matters, and your voice alone we want to hear. So let us hear what you two have to say. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. This is Ghana Speaks. Ghana Speaks on ABC in the morning. Ghana Speaks on ABC in the morning. But tomorrow, tomorrow will be 1 year. I think tomorrow we'll have some more conversation even about President Mahama's 1 year, the research agenda, the work of the research agenda, and what they thought to achieve. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Oh, I have lost this caller too. Apologies. Please call back. I'd love so much to hear from you. Let's hear what you have to say. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. You're also reminded that if you have missed any part of the show, just go on our socials and you will find the program there. We're streaming on Facebook. We're also streaming on YouTube, ABC News GH. You can also catch snippets on all of our socials and also read the news as it happens on our website, www.abcnewsgh.com. Our socials at abcnewsgh_. Hello, good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV so that I can hear you and you can also hear me. Hello, good morning. My callers seem to be having challenges establishing contact with me. When you call, I will plead with you to turn down the volume of your TV, or if you may, kindly turn off the TV and let's have the conversation so that you can hear me well and I can also hear you well. When you call and then you want to listen through the TV, there's a lag and so the conversation is not smooth. That is why you may feel that. So please turn down the volume of your TV anytime you call and let's have a very great conversation. I'd love so much to hear from you. If I do not have a caller, we'll bring you the latest in the world of sports. But let me try again. Maybe I'll hear from you. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Well, we'll call for the latest in the world of sports. I've been looking forward to today's sports segment because yesterday was the last round of games in the round of 16 for the AFCON. The AFCON that Ghana is not at. And so the sports team is on hand to bring us the latest in the world of sports right after this break. Do stay.
Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come see what? Wait, this guy. My friend, still before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno banu mumpe baby amubeda. Oh, no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. Eugene Oforisoti has joined me in studio to bring me the latest. I've taken it personal, because of the AFCON, the latest in the world of sports. And Soti tells me that it's actually today that the last round of games in the round of 16 will be played.
Yeah, exactly. Good morning to our viewers, and that's right. The last round of fixtures will be played today. I think the Ivory Coast will be taking on Burkina Faso, their neighbors, and then Algeria will be taking on the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay.
And so we'll look at those games as well. But before then, yesterday, a few games were played. 2 games were played actually. Egypt took on the cheaters of Benin. They ended up beating them extra time by 3-1. And then the Super Eagles of Nigeria demolished and annihilated their Mozambican opponents, humiliating them by 4-0. So we'll first take the highlights of the Egypt versus Benin game, and then we'll take the highlights of the Nigeria versus Mozambique game.